budget-friendly spring decor ideas, thrifted cottagecore and rustic farmhouse inspiration. Hi sweet friends, I'm Emma, your cozy design companion here on Decor, our little corner of the internet where we sip tea, dream in patterns, and talk about all things interior decorating, home design, and creating a space that truly feels like you. If you've been with me a while, you know I have a soft spot for blending styles, especially when it comes to that dreamy mix of cottagecore and rustic farmhouse. Today, I'm so excited to share something close to my heart, budget-friendly spring decor ideas that are as enchanting as they are affordable. We'll be wandering through thrifted finds, soft florals, and a touch of old-world charm, all with that calming, soulful feel we love here on the channel. So light a candle, cozy up under your favorite throw, and let's stroll through some lovely inspiration together. The other day, I popped into a local thrift shop just to browse. And you guys, it was pure magic. A chipped teapot, a stack of floral linens, and a wooden crate that had definitely seen better days. But to me, they were treasures. That's the joy of decorating with a cottagecore heart. You don't need a big budget or even brand new pieces to create a space that sings. With a little imagination, a $4 teapot becomes a flower vase. The linens become spring table runners, and that wooden crate turns into rustic shelving. Every piece has a story, and that story becomes part of your home's soul. That's what thrifted cottagecore is all about, finding beauty in the imperfect. One of my favorite things to do when spring starts peeking through the windows is to refresh my living space with layers of soft vintage charm. Think lace curtains wafting in the breeze, a stack of worn books tied with twine, and freshly picked wildflowers tucked into amber bottles. These little moments don't cost much. Most of the items I find come from secondhand stores, flea markets, or even my own attic. But they add so much warmth. When you mix in rustic farmhouse textures, like weathered wood, galvanized metal, and linen throws, it gives your spring setup that grounded, earthy vibe that just makes everything feel like home. Let's talk kitchen for a moment. This season, I've been loving thrifted kitchenware for adding that charming farmhouse look. Enamel bowls, floral plates, and vintage glass jars are not only practical, but also decorative. You can use them to hold lemons, wooden spoons, or even little bundles of fresh herbs. And if you find a piece that's chipped or cracked, embrace it. That patina is part of its story. I recently found an old butter dish with a tiny crack, and now it holds my rings by the sink. Proof that with a little love, even the simplest items can bring beauty into our everyday. Sometimes the best decor comes from nature itself. A basket of pine cones, a bundle of dried lavender, or a few foraged branches in a tall pitcher can completely transform a corner. These are the touches that whisper spring without shouting it. And when paired with thrifted pieces, like a distressed mirror or an old wooden stool, your space feels curated. Not curated by a catalog, but curated by you. Cottagecore and farmhouse style invite you to blur the line between indoors and out, to welcome the garden into the home, and celebrate the slow, sweet rhythm of seasonal living. One project I absolutely loved working on recently was a little reading nook redo. I had this tired armchair from a yard sale. It was faded and saggy, but oh, it had good bones. I covered it with a floral thrifted quilt, added a crocheted pillow, and placed a small side table, rescued from the curb, beside it. On top, I added a ceramic bunny figurine I found for $2, a teacup turn candle, and an old book of spring poems. The whole space now feels like stepping into a Beatrix Potter story. And it cost me less than a fancy candle. That's the magic of decorating with intention. In the bedroom, spring brings the urge to freshen up bedding and textiles. But instead of splurging on new sets, try mixing vintage pillowcases with your existing duvet. Add a light, crocheted blanket at the end of the bed, And maybe hang a straw hat on the wall. It doesn't have to be fancy. Sometimes I even use an old embroidered tablecloth as a curtain. It filters the light so softly and adds just the right touch of cottage charm. When decorating on a budget, layering textures is key. It keeps things interesting and rich without needing a big spend. Let's not forget about the outdoors. If you have a porch, a balcony, or even just a little front step, it's the perfect place to bring in that rustic farmhouse touch. A metal watering can filled with flowers, a handmade wreath from thrifted faux florals, or a wooden crate planted with spring bulbs can completely shift the vibe. I also love painting old picture frames and hanging them on a fence or wall. Empty, distressed frames as art? Yes, please. They add charm, visual interest, and cost nearly nothing. Now I know it's easy to scroll Pinterest and feel like you need to buy new things to stay on trend, but real style comes from how something makes you feel. When you thrift, create, and decorate with pieces that speak to you, that joy shows. The cottagecore and farmhouse worlds aren't about perfection. They're about comfort, nostalgia, and nature. Budget-friendly doesn't mean boring. It means personal, meaningful, and mindful. As we close our little cottagecore journey today, I hope this story has reminded you that spring decorating doesn't require a big haul from the store. Sometimes, the most beautiful home touches come from what's already around you. Forgotten treasures at the thrift shop, nature's offerings, and your own creative heart. It's about finding beauty in the ordinary and adding layers of love to every room. Thank you so much for spending this time with me here on Decor. I hope you're feeling inspired to grab a basket, head to your local thrift store, and start creating a spring story in your home that feels soft, rooted, and uniquely you. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep decorating, and above all, keep making your home a place of comfort and joy. See you soon, sweet friends.